pass over I want to say the power to the people. You know, I wanted to hear what their wants, their needs, and if there's anything that we can change, we can do for the people, all for it. I echo what counterparts, the leader said, and we're gonna go forward. Yes.
And so, really briefly, as y'all know, the city council, they are the ones that oversee the city, the well-being of the city. Residents can go speak to them to address any need that they have. And at the same time, it is up to staff to execute those priorities. So I want to invite really briefly, Megan Hunter, our city manager, as well, to say a few words.
For attending. I just wanted to briefly introduce myself. My name is Megan Hunter. I started here in May of 2023, so almost 2 years. And I just wanted to let you know, I work hand in hand with the city council and the mayor. They provide the policy direction and I execute that by working with our wonderful department heads who are at the tables. And after the mayor makes the address, I encourage you to stop by every table to really get more information about what the departments do. We obviously are about serving the community. We provide critical services, emergency services from fire, the police department, finance, making sure that your tax dollars are put to good use. We have public works that does streets and is important every time you flush that toilet. Public works behind the scenes, you don't know, but there's a whole wastewater treatment plant that is helping maintain that. And then we also have community and economic development that's really important to provide economic development opportunities here, housing. Anytime you do something to your building, you need a permit. And then lastly, we have our recreation parks department, which we're sitting in a great facility that they have maintained and managed and bringing the program. So these are kind of the city services. And on top of that, we have backbone services like HR and IT that help keep our staff hired and running and operating the city efficiently. So my role is to kind of oversee all of these departments. And again, I'm also a public servant. So if you ever want to reach out, my office is open. Many of you know Darlene Noriega. She's my boss, I like to say. she's if you call her, she will get an appointment with me. So I want you to know that I also have an open door for our citizens. And I do see our mayor has arrived, and I think she will be making an address to really share with you what the accomplishments of the city are over 2024 and some of the goals. And just so you understand, we work hand in hand with the mayor and the council to get that direction. And then we are the doers of the policy that is set. So it's a real team effort between our elected officials who are your representatives and city staff. So thank you. And I'll introduce our great Mayor Ana Velasquez, who is going to come up and make the address tonight.
Thank you, everyone, and I apologize for being a little bit late. I was having technical issues with my computers at home, so I am going to try to do this a little bit different. I'm going to try to do this from my phone, and so please bear with me. So thank you. So they say technology is great until it's not, right? So Thank you. So before we begin, I want to make sure that do we have the Girl Scouts are here? Yes, yes. So let me just start off by saying, good evening again and buenas noches. As I was introduced, my name is Ana Velasquez and I'm your humbled mayor. I'm humbled and honored to be serving as your mayor for the city of Soledad. And I'm excited to welcome you to our 5th annual, as if you can believe, this is our 5th annual State of the City address. And today we are really centered on building an inclusive city for all. So as we begin, I'd just like to share a few housekeeping items. I'm not sure whether those were announced or not, but I think maybe, Megan, please share. Stop me if you've already shared this, but we do have Spanish translations. That was already shared. Okay. Great, and we also have American Sign Language. That was already shared. Thank you. And I walked in as you were sharing that we have our 2nd annual. This is our 2nd annual resource fair, which is really important to us as a city because we want to make sure that you get all your questions addressed for tonight. So just as a matter of clarification for my address today, I will not be taking questions, but we do have our amazing city staff that's here that will be. You can ask them any questions. You can ask me questions after as well, but we do have our team here that can answer any questions for you tonight. But during the State of the City address, we won't be doing a question and answer portion. So I just want to make sure that that was clear. So thank you again. I will be providing some key highlights today of our accomplishments in 2024. So you're not going to hear everything. So I want to make sure I make that clear. We did have a lot of accomplishments in 2024, but I will be highlighting just a few of those. And throughout, you will be hearing, at least throughout this year, you will be hearing from our team more of the accomplishments that we did have in 2024. And I do want to remind you as well as many of you drive through our city, I think many of you have seen a lot of those accomplishments that I may not discuss tonight, but that you have seen that have been completed in our city in 2024. And I will also be talking about the department goals that we have for 2025. And those department goals are going to align with some of the city council goals that we had for last year, which we had 6 city council goals that were focused on economic development, housing, public safety, parks and recreation, general plan update, and financial health and stability. So I want to make sure that I focus on that. And I also want to share that this Saturday, our city council will have an all-day strategic plan workshop where we'll be reviewing and updating our city council goals also for the next 2 to 3 years. And so, which is really important. So as our city grows, we want to make sure that we are addressing the needs of our residents, and making sure that we're meeting those needs of our community as well. Okay. So now I just want to take a few moments to acknowledge our dignitaries that are joining us here tonight. I think you already met our city council members, so I won't introduce them again, but I do want to make sure that I acknowledge all their efforts as well. So I don't know if we had an opportunity to do this, but I want to make sure I take the opportunity to acknowledge all of them tonight that are here with us tonight. So thank you to Councilmember Fernando Ansaldo Sanchez, who's with us, Councilwoman Eva Banuelos, and Councilmember Ben Caldera. We can just give them a big round of applause. And I also want to acknowledge Isabel Mesa from State Senator John Laird's office, who is also a Soledad resident. So thank you, Isabel. And then we also have Luis Mesa from Assembly Speaker Robert Rivas' office with us today. So thank you so much. And we also have Priscilla Barbara from Supervisor Lucas's office. So thank you, Priscilla. I hope I didn't forget anybody else from here. Okay, well, thank you so much, and thank you everyone for coming. And again, just bear with me as I try to do this as I look at my phone. So introductions. At this point, I want to introduce our Girl Scouts who are going to lead us in the pledge and also do our Girl Scouts our Girl Scout, they're gonna lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance and also the Girl Scout Pledge. So if you, it's my honor to be able to introduce the Girl Scout Troop 35308 of Soledad and their leader Christina Estrada. We can have the Girl Scouts come forward. And I want to acknowledge that we have our brownies, Ashley Barrera, Isabella Gonzalez, Judith Gonzalez, Penelope Barrera from the junior category, and I hope I'm saying that correctly. We have Ramona Estrada, Sofia Gutierrez Romero, and our cadet, Reese, thank you, Reese Rodriguez. So I will turn it over to them. If we can please stand. That's off.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now for our Girl Scout promise. And that. On my honor, I will try to serve God and our country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law. I will do my best to be honest and fair, friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, responsible for what I say and do, to respect myself and others, to use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout.
Have you come up here? And I want to say thank you also for for everything that you all do. But before I have a little gift for you on behalf of the city council, but I also just want to say thank you to you girls, and thank you also to your troop leaders and to your parents, right? Because they do a lot to make sure that you're here with us tonight and to make sure that you guys continue to do community service. So I just want to say thank you and appreciation, but I know that I also was asked to thank and appreciate the city for their continued community service, that they wanted to make sure that there was an expression of appreciation to the city of Soledad for our unwavering support of the Girl Scouts Troops 35308 in helping to plant their own tree at Cesar Chavez Park last year on Earth Day. Are you guys excited? Yeah. Oh, thank you. And in support of Troop 35331 as well, as they actually had their first Wreath Across America project in the Soledad Cemetery this year. So we look forward to continuing working with you and having more community service projects this year. So with that, on behalf of the city council, I do want to present you with our Soledad pins and also, yeah. Help me again, just in giving them a big round of applause. I'm super excited that the Girl Scout troop has always been part of our celebration. So I'm excited they continue to partner with the city of Soledad and continue to be here supporting us as well as we continue to try to improve our city and continue to engage also our community members, especially our youth. They are our future, so we hope that there are future mayors, our future city council members, our future supervisors, right, senators, assembly members. So we're excited that they're here with us tonight. Okay, so with that, we're gonna move on into our program. So now I'm excited, since we're a little bit behind, I wanna make sure that I move us along. So, now it's, my honor to move forward with accomplishments that we had in 2024. So I will begin, let me see if I can do this. Okay, so me and technology are just having a bad day today. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Sorry about that. Okay, so just excited to be able to share with you several accomplishments for 2024, beginning with our admin department. So if you're like me and you grew up in Soledad, you know that our city has grown significantly over the past 10 to 15 years. And in order for the city to keep up with our needs of our families, our water, our sewer, our infrastructure, our public safety, we need people to help maintain our facilities and provide our services and keep our community safe and our families safe. So during 2024, we hired 42 new employees, and this includes 22 part-time and 20 full-time employees. The city now has approximately 85 full-time employees plus 40 seasonal employees. And I want to highlight that because a lot of our seasonal employees are our youth that live in Soledad. And so it's really important for us as a community to be able to support them as they work here locally and they're able to continue to go to school and also get those skills, soft skills to be able to work and support their needs, right? And sometimes their families' needs as well. So we're super excited about that. And not only are they Soledad employees, but some of them are also South County youth. So we're excited about that. So during 2024, our city generated, as you can see, $2 million in investment income back to the city. So our city, our finance department, which we want to make sure that we give a big round of applause because they really have supported us in this endeavor. Yeah, thank you. So this is income that comes back to the city earnings that come from, so this is our finance department takes advantage of the past high interest rates and earnings that come from this, right? So this is interest earned is allocated across all the funds. And this doesn't happen every year, but we're happy that it happened in 2024. So why is this important to you? Why is it important to us as a community? So for example, I'll give you an example in terms of our enterprise funds. It has interest earnings that go toward the utility funds account that we have, meaning that we may not have to increase the utility funds as high, right? Not that we're not going to increase it, but we're just not going to increase it as high because we received interest earnings to offset the operational costs. So this means that this puts a little money back into the pockets of our community members. So this is really important. So again, we really want to make sure that we highlight this and also note that it may not happen every year, but we're excited that we have a finance department that is really looking at how we save every penny. So we can really make sure that we also support our community members, knowing that it's not easy sometimes, especially given some of the high inflations that we have currently. Another critical accomplishment that we had in 2024 was focus on you, the voter. So we cherish our democracy and we want to ensure that our local government works for you and for the people and that we work together. And in 2024, we completed the districting process. After a very long and contentious process, as you may recall, we went from an at-large district-based elections. We went from at-large to district-based elections. And in November 5th of 2024, the city held its first district elections for District 1 and District 3. And this year, the city will hold its second district elections for District 3 and District 4. So also in March of 2024, the Soledad voters voted to continue electing their mayor at large every 2 years. So the next mayoral election that will happen in Soledad will be in 2024. So with that, I want to just thank the voters for their participation, and we hope to continue to engage our voters, right? Voter participation is important to democracy, and the voters' participation is essential to having a government that really works for the people. So thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to our next slide. Okay, so this is our police department. So under our public safety goal, we continue to focus on officer retention. So we've continued to make sure that we want our officers to stay here in Soledad. And so officer retention is really important to us. Community policing, mental health, our victims assistance services, given especially our current federal policies on immigration, we want to continue to foster trust and relationship building with our residents. So, you know, I really, you know, I have a lot to say under this one, but I think you as residents have seen our police department in action every day out in our community. So you have seen them in numerous positive encounters out in our community, whether it be at Coffee with the Cops event, whether it be with our Special Olympics at the basketball tournament, whether it be at Eden Valley, with our seniors, whether it be at our annual Cops Giving Tree, whether it be at our Kids Connect Holiday Resource Fair, whether you've seen Sergeant Santiago delivering toys to our children, whether you've seen officers providing blankets and meals to our homeless at the river, whether you've seen Caitlin, our victim services advocate, providing teddy bears with hearts to our families. I mean, they do so much out in our community. So our police department continues to increase our community service hours, code enforcement activities, parking and traffic violations, animal control, trash abatement, blight, and tobacco enforcement. That's going to continue to be the focus for this coming year as well. And just let me share some of the numbers that you see up in the screen. So as you see, some of the calls for services, as we continue to grow as a city, will continue to increase. So our officers responded to 26,310 calls for services. That's a lot of calls for services, given the amount of officers that we have in our department. That's an average of 2,192 calls per month, which is pretty amazing. And again, just an increased collaboration with other victim advocates. And so, you know, our victim services is working closely also with the district attorney's office to bring more services that our communities and our families and our community need here as well. So I want to make sure that we thank them for all of the work that they're doing, that they continue to do. They continue to put their lives on the line for our communities, and the work that they do is really critical to the safety of our community. So I just want to make sure that we take a moment to recognize the hard work of our officers and that their commitment to public safety, their commitment to community policing, their community to building trust in our community is essential for us to be able to have a community that is prosperous and that really there's a collaboration between the police department and our residents. So let me just pause for a minute to make sure that we acknowledge and thank our police department. And I know it's not on this slide, but I do want to take time to address some of the traffic concerns that and increased accidents around our schools and on Front Street, because I know I've heard those concerns. I know many of my colleagues have heard those concerns on the council. To the residents that have called me and have called my colleagues on the council, please know that we hear you. We are working with our city team, with our public safety team, with our safe routes to school plan, traffic studies that have been conducted. We have identified traffic calming measures for Front Street, and those will be coming this year. For areas around the school, we need a more comprehensive approach that will include the school district. And it'll also include you as parents in our community. We also need your help to slow down, obey traffic laws, and give our pedestrians the right of way. So we've seen that there has been an increase in accidents, but we also want to make sure that we're working together in a strategic manner to ensure that it's not just the city's responsibility or our police department's responsibility, but it's everybody's responsibility. But we will be looking at, having this coming year, having town halls, surrounded and just really based and focused on traffic, so we can hear more from you as to what some of those recommendations could be, and then looking at what is the funding that we have. We do have our budget process coming this year as well, and looking how we prioritize those areas that we already know are those high, priority areas for traffic impacts. Okay, so, I think that was, everything that, well, a couple of things more, in 2025, we'll also continue. I know our police department did an amazing job in prioritizing bringing more prevention and intervention resources for our families. So we'll continue to look at ways to address also our current fentanyl and opioid crisis that we continue to face, not only as a city, but also as a country. And so I want to take a moment to thank Chief Watson and all our police officers for all the work that they do. I also want to thank all of our residents, our local nonprofits, our youth sport coaches, our volunteers, our local community clubs, our Lions Club, our Lioness clubs, our Rotary, our businesses, our schools, our teachers, our administrators, our Hartnell College, our Hartnell College colleagues, and all of our community partners that support our local law enforcement. It takes all of us working together. They say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes all of us to work together to make a prosperous and safe community. So thank you so much. And together we'll continue to forge a brighter future for Soledad. And I do want to take this time just to pause and share with everyone that Chief Damon Watson will be retiring, and we will miss him, but we do want to thank him for his years of service to Soledad. And although we wish him the best in his retirement, we will miss him dearly, and we know that his leadership has left behind an amazing team of officers that will continue to keep our community safe and keep our community prosperous. So thank you, Chief, for your years of service to the people of Soledad. We will truly miss you and your leadership. So with that, I will continue to the next slide. Okay, so here now we want to focus. We'll continue also with public safety, but this is for our fire department. So with our fire department, we continue to see a lot of community engagement as well. This year we'll have, well, let me just share a little bit. I know this is going to be in our goals, but I want to kind of get ahead a little bit. But for the fire department, we'll continue to see more community engagement. We do have a new fire truck coming. So as many of you have seen, there is, so this is a fire truck with a ladder that we've been waiting for. You can see it over here, which is amazing. And so as you know, as we're growing, we're responding to more calls as well. So that is going to support us in helping us to build higher density housing as well, but also to respond to calls quicker for calls for services. And I'll focus on some of the calls that they've had as well. So as you know, I just want to make sure that I share this again. The ladder truck was made possible through a district budget allocation that was provided through Senator Ana Caballero in 2022. So I know it's taken a while for the ladder truck to get here, but we're excited that it's coming in 2025. And as you've seen, You notice that as in its anticipation, we didn't realize that we needed to construct a bay apparatus because we didn't have something that would protect our ladder truck. So we are in the process of constructing that, and you can see some of that movement happening. And we are scheduled to have that completed by this year as well. So we're super excited for that coming. This is in the works and it will be completed this year as well. So as we continue to see our housing increase, we will see our calls for services increase as well. And so unfortunately, last year, we also had some structural fires in our city, and some closed calls also during the 4th of July. So we want to make sure that we let our residents know how important it is for us to also be safe and to ensure that we're maintaining our community safe as well. So again, we are thankful for CAL FIRE and all the firefighters as we have seen an increase in wildfires. And also, I want to take some time to also thank all of the firefighters across California as we've seen the devastation in the LA fires for this year. So we take a moment to say thank you to them and to their families for their incredible work they do in keeping California and Soledad safe. Thank you. So before I read what's on the slide, as you can see, I do want to take a moment to share that this coming year, the council will be analyzing ways to secure a long-term contract with CAL FIRE as we have evaluated establishing an in-house fire department. And based on our finance department, the cost to have an in-house fire department is determined at this time not feasible. So we will continue to work on ways to ensure that we continue to work and partner with CAL FIRE for a long-term fire contract. So with that, if you can see some of the numbers that you have before you, our fire department completed over 98% of our fire and life safety inspections to all city businesses, including all state mandated inspections. Thank you so much for that. Their call volume for 2024 included 1,572 medical aid calls for service, which is pretty significant. They responded to 322 vegetation, structural debris, and vehicle fires. They had 56 hazardous condition standbys and 87 other type of calls with a total call volume of 2,037. So that's a really high number of calls for our city. So obviously our public safety and our fire department are really critical to maintaining a safe community. So we want to say, and all fire personnel attended over 120 hours of training and preparation for receiving our new fire truck. So we want to say thank you to them. So moving on, and thank you for your patience. So am I doing okay with reading off of my phone?
Yes.
Okay. So with our public works department, so we continue to work. They continue. I say we, right? But they continue to work on roads, parks, water, and infrastructure improvements. In 2024, they completed the Front Street project. So this was a significant project. So many of you have seen those improvements in our downtown. So they removed the trees to prevent the sidewalk from damage. So we heard many of you complained about, the Front Street sidewalk damage. Many of our businesses complained about it as well as our residents. They replaced the sidewalk damage and installed the new ADA ramps and landscaping improvements. So as you see, this has been a really massive undertaking. And I hope that you can see the transformation. We're not yet done. There is more to come. So we hope that you, in this coming year, you see additional transformative changes in our downtown. So I'm really excited about our downtown. I know we had, there was a prior economic development director who said our downtown is our living room, right? So we want to make sure when people come down our living room, like our homes, right? When people walk into our homes, that is a place that they see. So we want to make sure that we maintain that, high visibility, and we maintain it, you know, in a nice condition, in a condition that's aesthetically pleasing, so people do want to come to Soledad, and that we do have tourists coming. And I know that's been a longstanding goal of the city, to really be that tourist attraction, and that we can really do that by transforming our downtown. So excited about continuing to do that. Also, you saw in our downtown area, we were also able to they were also able to do some major water valve maintenance and repairs that were completed in the older side of our city with long-term reliability, to ensure that residents and emergency responders have access to water services. So all of you understand how critical water is to our community, right? We all want to make sure that when we turn our water faucet, our water is on. And so that is really critical. So our infrastructure is aging, especially in our older side of town. So we want to make sure that we're addressing all of those needs. So thank you to our Public Works Department for continuing to look at and looking at that, at our aging infrastructure and improving that. They also completed a large-scale tree trimming project, approximately 756 trees. We did the trimming this year, and so visibility was critical, not only for aesthetics, but for visibility. And so we want to make sure that we continue to maintain our trees healthy, and that we continue to make sure that people can, you know, see our roads. And many of you, as you're walking through our streets, we want to make sure that our trees are maintained. So we want to extend a big heartfelt thank you to our Public Works Department for the work that they continue to do. So as I said, these are only a few of the accomplishments. There's a lot more that they've done throughout the year, because they're a busy department. They have a lot on their plate. So we want to make sure that we acknowledge all of their accomplishments. And so some of the items that we have moving forward as well, I know they're working on our water recycling project, and we're really excited about that. I know for many of us that are concerned about climate change and making sure that we're being good to our planet, recycling our water is really important. So we do have a massive recycled water project that they're working on, and excited to see that come to fruition. And I also want to take some time to address the road maintenance, as this was a critical project for our city. So just give me a few minutes, because I do want to address some of the comments that were made on different social media pages. I know many of you were not happy with the crack seal project that was completed. But I do want to let you know that this was a critical part of the city addressing its deferred maintenance and preventing our roads from getting worse. Although this does not, maybe some of you guys don't think it looks as pretty as having a new, paved road. But this will help prevent from further cracking until we get the funding to be able to prioritize all the streets that need the immediate repairs. We do have a list of those streets, but we don't have the entire budget that we need. So we are prioritizing on the budget cycles every year. We look at a capital improvement project, and we look at the streets that have the highest indicator of that need to be replaced. And that's how we determine what streets are going to be replaced. But I want to share with our community that I learned also through, and I want to make sure I get this right, Don, but through our pavement management index, right? The city of Soledad has rates at a 10, and that is actually really good. So we actually have, our streets are a lot better than a lot of other streets within our region. So, we do rate higher, and I just want to ask for your patience as we continue to improve our streets. We can't get them all done because we don't have that magnitude of a budget to get all of our streets improved, but we are working on it. So I just want to make sure that as a community, when you see, oh, wow, they just did these little lines, right? Those little lines took money, and they do have a purpose, and they will prevent our streets from further cracking. So it gives us time to be able to work on those other streets that have higher priorities. Until we have further funding. So thank you. Okay, so let's give Public Works a big hand for all of their. So we'll move on to Parks and Recreation. So in 2024, with Parks and Recreation, we continued to enhance our recreation and Parks Department and completion of, and so we completed last year our Orchard Park, Cesar Chavez Park improvements and improvements to our community center to be able to offer a wide range of activities that meet the needs of our children and our families. So I want to thank Jessica Potts and her team for all of the work. So I hope that as you've come into our community center, you've been able to see the transformation just in this center as well, right? So I don't know if any of you go to the gym. I try to make myself, I said I was going to be healthier this year. So I'm committed to go to the gym in the mornings, and it's really inspiring to be able to see just, the enhancements and improvements in the gym, and to be able to see all the families that come for all the different activities that we have in our community center. And it's been for me an honor, especially having a sister with a disability and special needs, that our community and our community center has really expanded its services to include a wide range of activities for our special needs families, partnering with Kids Connect, partnering with San Andreas Regional, just really looking at what are those gaps in services? How do we make sure that we are an inclusive city for all and that we're meeting the needs of all? And so I just want to say thank you to our Rec and Parks for all of the great work that they've done. So just a couple of highlights here in terms of their, did I miss a slide? Parks and Recreation? So just a couple of items, events that they've hosted is they hosted the summer kickoff, the Superhero Fall Festival, which is the first time we had it, and hopefully it's not the last. National Night Out, the Dia de los Muertos, and Cookies with Santa, again, to foster that inclusivity and really have more civic engagement. So if you have not come, I will encourage you to come this year, making sure that in order for us to continue to have these events, it's really important that the community participate, right? A lot of what we do because we want our families to come, to enjoy, and to participate here locally. But we really need your support as well to encourage your family and to encourage you to come and join us in those events. We've also had an increased youth program participation by 16%, with more sports growing by 37% and break camps during the vacation by 26%. And I have to say, they've also increased their girls' sports, so which is really exciting because we want to make sure that we're also addressing some of those gender equity issues. So I just have to say thank you to our team for being able to do that. They've expanded programs leading to a 95% increase in participation and 10% increase in senior engagement with senior social luncheons, travel programs, and culinary and wellness initiatives. And I have to tell you, I was here, I hadn't been here in a while for our senior socials. And I think I was here about a month ago, right? And they had the senior social just right before Valentine's. I walked in and it was a party. I mean, they were having so much fun. We had so many seniors and it was just so nice to be able to see our seniors were having a great time. They had a meal, they were dancing, they were enjoying each other. And it was nice to be able to see that community happen here in our city, and hopefully we continue to grow that. Our seniors are precious. Our seniors are critical to maintaining our history and our preservation of our city. So we want to make sure that we continue to support them, to uplift them, and continue to meet their needs as well. So with that, I just want to thank them and give a big applause to our Parks and Recreation for everything that we're doing. Okay, so let me try to go a little bit quicker here in terms of community and economic development. Here we go. economic development is, a priority for the city council for several years. For our city, as many of you know, like myself, that grew up here in Soledad, you know, our community continues to grow. We continue to grow in housing. We continue to grow in schools. We, you know, have more schools than we had before when I was growing up. We have more houses than we had before when I was growing up. But you know, what we continue to hear from our residents is, you know, we need shopping, right? We need more retail, we need more activities. So our community and economic development is a critical department for us. It's gonna continue to be as we continue to grow and as we continue to see more happening in that area, and as we continue to see, you know, our footprint and housing continue to grow for the next couple of years. This is a critical department as well. So with that, we have a lot of exciting things happen and more coming yet. So as you know, we supported the opening of Ace Hardware, which was really nice. So I hope everybody has been into Ace Hardware, and if you haven't, I'm going to encourage you to go because the remodeling is amazing. They have so many amazing tools and stuff that you can buy here. You don't have to go anywhere else. And then obviously Dutch Bros, right? I think we're the only South County city. I hear there's others that are going to get it, but you know what? We're the first. So that's what counts. And so we're also excited to be able to prepare for the opening of Panda Express. So I hope everybody's excited about that. And then also Tractor Supply coming in 2025. So just to clarify, as many of you know, the city doesn't own the property, but the city is supporting, working with the developer to ensure that we're looking at what are those needs that our city, our residents need to make sure that we're working to be able to support, you know, support the developer to bring some of those retail stores here. And then also, I know for the council, it's been really important to look at what other incentives exist, whether it be state or federal incentives, grants, opportunities that we can really utilize to be able to attract developers to come to the city of Soledad. So we're super excited to be able to work more on those initiatives in 2025 as well. And then exciting to share with you that the city purchased a 4.6 acre lot to build up to 100 units of affordable housing. I'm not going to touch on too much of the housing, but that is really incredible. So you know, part of my background, as you may or may not know, I worked for the city of Salinas in the housing department for many years. And so housing is really critical. Affordable housing is pretty complex and very difficult to build sometimes. And so having the ability for the city to really take the driver's seat and to really purchase or acquire a piece of land to build affordable housing. We're not developers, but obviously we have to work with a developer to be able to do that. But to meet that housing need, to be able to build 100 affordable units, it's going to be really important to be able to meet the needs of all of our residents. So we have a housing element. That is a plan that the city has to develop. And it's a plan that we're required to develop as part of the state. So just so you know, it is a state mandated document. But for us, it's not just a state mandated document. It's about providing the housing that our residents need. And our council is committed to providing the housing needs of all of our community members, not just a specific type, but of all of the different income categories of our families that live in Soledad. So we're excited to be able to bring this. We're excited to be able to hopefully not be the first city that moves toward being able to do this. Also, as you may know, the city received $4.7 million from the state of California to serve the unsheltered and build a temporary interim shelter. So many of you obviously did send, you know, I've heard your concerns. The council has heard your concerns about the shelter that we have living in the river. And so 2 years ago, we engaged working with the county to be able to support the Leave Me Home plan with the county and to be able to work together to look at ways that the city could have or apply for grants. The city couldn't do it by itself, so the county was a big partner in helping us to be able to do this. So thank you to Supervisor Lopez, Priscilla, for all the work that's been done to allow the city to be able to be in a position to apply, to work with the county. The county applied for the grant. We were part of the recipients of that grant. And now because of that, Now we also have an opportunity to meet the needs of our unsheltered homeless population, to get them out of the river into interim temporary shelter, to hopefully move them into permanent shelter. So we are working on all fronts, and I want our communities to understand that this is $4.7 million that came from the state. So it's not coming out of our budget, but it's an allocation from the state that allowed us to be able to address this issue that otherwise, we wouldn't address it. And I know for our public safety, for our police department, for our fire department, there was a lot of issues, right? In terms of fires, in terms of calls for services. And we want to make sure that we provide the services, the humane services, to all of our residents that deserve a good quality of life as well. So we're excited to be in a position to be able to do that and to continue to support all of the residents in our community. So I want to give Community and Economic Development a big shout out. Thank you. There is a lot more that they've done to support our businesses as well. So I want to make sure that we're clear. These are only a couple of the highlights. They've done an amazing job supporting our local businesses. They continue to apply for state grants to continue to support our local small businesses as we continue to bring more retail to the city of Soledad. So thank you. So this becomes a big helpful. So moving on to our community engagement, our community engagement department also was a priority for the city of Soledad as we continue to ensure that we are inclusive. Being inclusive is, we want to make sure your voice is heard, everybody's voice. And the city of Soledad is critical. How do we center our youth voices, to what we do? So they've been able to hire 3 youth commissioners that lead the youth council and implement youth research methods. So this is really awesome because these are, when we talk about our youth, they're our future, they're our leaders, they're our next, as I said, our next senators, our next, congressional representatives, right? So we want our youth, we have so much talent in the city of Soledad. Many of our South County youth, so much talent here. And we have Luis sitting here, we have 2 of them sitting here. Actually, we have, 4 of them, and we have so many youth sitting here in our audience that come from Soledad that have been able to prosper and continue, and we want to continue to support that as well. So Sam is here as well, and she's a director, and all this, a lot of these youth are from Soledad, and we're super excited to continue to support that. We've also successfully engaged in over 50 residents through the Soledad Civics Academy and other civic community engagement activities. So we'll continue to do more of that. So please, we want your engagement. The more that we hear from you, the better. This is how government works, right? Government can improve when we hear your voices and when your input is part of the discussion. So your voice is critical. So they've also increased digital engagement through social media, newsletters, surveys, responses, and website visits. So making sure that you're on top of all of this. I know, Jesus, if you don't have our, our social media handles and all of that, he'll make sure that he gets that to you because we want to make sure that you're included in all of that. So let's make sure we give them a big round of applause and thank you for making this happen today. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a few more minutes. I know, thank you guys for being really patient with me. So we'll go into our goals for 2025. So in 2025, we're gonna continue to celebrate our diversity, celebrate our culture and our traditions, which are really important to our residents in the city of Soledad. In 2025, we're gonna continue to honor our past, to cherish our present, and to embrace the potential of our future. As we continue to work together to write the story, so we know Soledad is 100 years, well, we want to write those chapters for the next 100 years. And we can't write those chapters together, and we can't write those chapters by ourselves, but we ask you to help us to write those chapters together. So we'll continue to create a Soledad that is better than today, and that is a future that is inspiring for our next generation. So for our admin department, They'll continue to collaborate with the council and staff to develop a new strategic plan that will guide the city's actions for the next 3 years. As I shared, we will be having that meeting this Saturday. And it's, it's an all-day meeting for the council, but we're looking forward to that because we want to make sure that we are now looking at what the needs are of our community that we've heard throughout the last couple of years and how we make sure that we're addressing those needs that are important to you and to your families. They're updating the personal manual to establish standards and procedures to ensure compliance with laws and promote employee safety and satisfaction. So as you know, laws are ever changing, right? We're getting laws at the state level, laws at the federal level, and we want to make sure that we're keeping up with all of those laws and that we're making sure that our employees are protected, that our communities are protected as well. And we have a goal also to complete our city hall and our council chambers and upgrade our IT services to improve more productivity and efficiency. So as you know, many of you that have lived here, like I have forever, we still have the same city hall. We still have the same fire department. We still have the same police department. We haven't done any improvements we've done some improvements to our city facilities. Our city has grown, but our public facilities have not. So we want to make sure that that is one of the focuses we continue to grow, that we're really looking at how we are expanding our city facilities to better support our community needs as well. And of course, technology is really critical. So, I want to do a shout out also to Supervisor Lopez. I didn't mention it today, but I did last year as part of our JPA to bring more fiber connectivity to our rural communities. That's something that we've been working on. And he's been a strong champion for that. He's had all of our South County mayors the past several weeks on calls with members from the CPUC to be able to advocate for our rural communities to get the money that we need to make sure that we have the broadband, the fiber connection to the broadband that our communities need and deserve. So Priscilla, I know he's not here, but please extend a thank you to him. If we want to compete, with Silicon Valley or compete with other areas, we want to make sure that our community has equal access to that technology that's needed. So, with our fire department, again, I think I shared a little bit, but just we want to make sure we continue to respond to our city and county needs, continue to respond to our community needs. We already talked about the fire truck that's coming and finalizing the construction on that, so we're really excited. Enhancing the fire department services with an interactive web page. I know they've been doing a lot more on social media, so make sure that you're on their webpage as well and on their Facebook. We continue to look at prevention activities to learn how to report weed abatement, inspections, public relations page that they have, business inspections as well that they do. They've been doing a lot as well, so we wanted to make sure that again we support and we thank them for all of their service to our community. Okay, and for our police department, so they're going to continue to increase, if you can believe it. Their community engagement, the more programs and events that they have is our Citizens Academy, the Cops Giving Tree, and the Coffee with the Cop, which they continue to do in our community. I'm incorporating more of the succession planning. As I shared, Chief is leaving. We have a lot of great officers here. We want to make sure that we have a plan to retain the officers so we don't lose them to other places and we get to keep them here. And so that's really important for us. And how do we make sure that we're hiring locally? Part of economic development, part of making sure that we're supporting our community is also how do we make sure that we're hiring people that are local from our community as well. And then making sure that we have a fully staffed police department to provide the best possible service to our community. So thank you. And under Public Works, Saudade will be the first agency in our region to begin construction So I talked a little bit about it, but thank you on our recycled water system to irrigate our parks, landscaping and our school turf. We do have an MOU with the school district, so this will save our city 54 million gallons of water. And so I think we are the first city in South Monterey, we are the first city in South Monterey County to do this. So, you know, it's happening in Soledad, and we have been the first in a lot of things. So I just want to say thank you to our residents and for them to acknowledge. Sometimes when you think like, what's happening in Soledad? There's nothing happening in Soledad. I want to make sure we acknowledge that there's a lot of things happening in Soledad, and we have been the first to do a lot in our South County region. So that is extremely amazing to be able to save 54 million gallons of water when we see in other valleys how critical water is. So to be able to save that much, I just want to say thank you to Public Works for helping us and to the state for those grants. And so the other thing that I think our residents are going to be extremely happy with also is installing new smart meters designed to save water and money on the utility bill. So again, anytime we can save you money, I'm a taxpayer as well. So anytime that we can save money, it's really important because that goes toward tuition, that goes toward groceries, right? That goes toward other stuff that we need. So we'll continue to work on Front Street, again, with the focus on improving traffic flow. That has been a priority, the road conditions, including the paving upgrades that we have, the new striping to improve the lane visibility. Also upgrade on our camera-based technology for better traffic signal responsiveness. So that'll be really important. We have more people, more traffic. We're going to need more of those improvements in our city. So thank you to Public Works for that. And then community and economic development, again, that is a priority for the council as we continue to move on bringing the residents, the retail and the businesses that they want to see here in Soledad. So we're excited to be able to develop the first phase of the container village. I think many of you guys have heard us talk about it. This project will continue to expand the marketplace concept that we have. And we'll also facilitate the development of a new hotel. So we're really excited about that. So it's happening in Soledad, remember. So we hope we see that in this coming year. Those are some of the important goals. Completing approvals of the first phase of the Miramonte development, which is our housing annexation that was approved that includes 598 new housing units. And making sure that the housing that comes to our city really is in accordance with the needs of the housing, that meets the housing needs of our residents. So we are really excited about that. And also this year, the adoption of the Siempre Soledad, which is our 2045 general plan. And again, it's not just a plan. This is our framework. This is, our kind of guiding principles of how our city is going to grow. And the general plan has had so much input from you, our residents, because this is not our plan. This is not my plan. This is not the council plan. It's not, the city employees' plan. This is our community's plan of what we see, our vision for what Soledad is going to look like in the future. So I'm excited about the 2045 plan for the general plan. And moving into parks and recreation, for the goals, develop a new youth and adult program and staff, which is really exciting because I actually was able to meet Dr. Cruz yesterday, who was here. She came from Texas and she worked in NASA, and she was at the middle school, and she actually taught her girls how to build a race car, which is pretty awesome. And it's all focused on STEM. So I'm pretty excited to see that we're moving. So we're offering more of those programming, cultural arts and wellness to meet the growing demands, and the strengthening adaptive recreation opportunities for individuals with special needs of all abilities. And launching an awareness campaign to highlight the impact of parks and recreation programs and encourage broader participation. So we want to make sure that as this facility is your facility, this facility is, as we call it, the Soledad Community Center. It's not Anna's center or the council center. This is the community center. It's our center. So we want to make sure the community comes, that this is a center for everyone that lives here in Soledad. So really excited for what's to come. And also, as you know, we have a fundraising campaign to expand the future facility improvements, scholarships, and expanded programming. When this facility was developed, and believe it or not, I think it's over 30 years old now, right? You know, at that time, it seemed like it was a massive facility for the size of our town. The town has grown immensely now, and now it's, you know, we don't have enough space, right? So we want to make sure we accommodate for more programming and services as our city continues to grow. So we want to say thank you and make sure that you are part of our fundraising campaign as well. Okay, I'm almost there. So community engagement, part of the goals that we have for 2025 is increasing civic participation. So more in-person forums and adult civics academy. So we'll see they'll be conducting more of those civics academy. The council is also wanting to engage in more town halls and more community feedback, listening sessions as well to make sure that we are listening to all the individuals in our community, going back to the inclusivity piece that we are capturing everybody's opinions and feedback, increasing youth engagement through the Soledad Youth Council, our youth commissioners, and by organizing our second South Monterey County Youth Summit, so which was really important, especially for our youth and understanding what their needs are. You know, Soledad, when I was growing up, I had my set of goals of what I wanted to see in Soledad. That is obviously very different for our new generation and what they want to see. So we want to make sure that as Soledad continues to expand, it really meets the needs of our younger population. And we have a lot of young, I don't know, what is it, millennials or Gen Zs? Are you guys Gen Zs? Gen Alphas? You know, there's all of these different generations, right? And you know, one of the things that we hear is, you know, they have a different needs. Our housing needs are very different than our housing needs, right? And so as we move forward into developing, you know, our plans for the future, we want to make sure that we take that into account. We have amazing youth that have gone on to college, have gone their master's degree, have got, you know, their bachelor's, come back home, and they're still not able to afford a home. So we want to make sure that we're taking all that into consideration. Increasing digital engagement through storytelling strategies on social media, newsletters, websites, increase, and post-traditional media coverage. So we have a lot more for 2025. We're excited to be able to engage in our strategic planning goals for each department, but also as a council to be able to look at our goals and make sure that they align with your goals as a community, and that we continue to work together. So just in my closing remarks, you know, I just want to, before I end, I just want to thank all of our city staff who work tirelessly each and every day to support you, our residents. Many of you know that I was a former city employee for the city of Salinas, and I know I have a city of Salinas colleague back here. Jose, thank you for being here. But I know, like you, how important it is to be a public servant and to be able to support our team and appreciate and value the hard work that they do for you each and every day. So I want to make sure that we take a few minutes to not let them go unnoticed, and to make sure that we say thank you to them for all the work that they do for each one of us, for, you know, for each one of you, for each one of us. So thank you. And so also for our city manager, I know I'm not going to go around the room and just say thank you to everyone. I think they introduced themselves at the beginning, but I also want to just take a moment to thank our city manager. She's been here for probably less than 2 years now. And in that short amount of time, I know that we've been able to push a lot of initiatives forward, a lot of different progressive initiatives. So I just want to thank her also. She comes from the city of Salinas, so I'm excited because I know there was a lot that she brings to the table as well. So I'm excited to continue to work with her, alongside her, to continue to improve you know, our city, and continue to make it better. So with that, again, special thanks to all of our team And I'm so proud to say that I'm a resident of Soledad. I'm so proud to say I was born in Soledad. I'm so proud to say, that it's happening in Soledad. And with that, I